What I remember is, obviously I was out, doing a bunch of stuff that I maybe shouldn't have been involved in. I was driving down Saviors Road, Oxnard, and I had just picked up an ounce of crack cocaine, and I had it in my pocket. A friend of mine called me to stop somewhere, so I pulled up to the place where she told me to stop, and it was a setup.
When I found out that my brother was arrested again, after everything that he had been through, everything he worked for, to me at that point just seemed like it was over.
The last time my son was arrested and went to prison, I was crushed. I was devastated, and I was in a state of panic because I didn't know what to expect. I couldn't believe that he was in trouble for the charges that were stated.
I served 2 years in between Wasco and Taft CCF. Wasco was a bit of, a reception yard that I was stuck for about a good 5 or 6 weeks. And it was an experience. I had never seen nothing like it. There were fights 3 and 4 times a day, middle of the night. You hear things, you hear, you're not supposed to have certain kind of objects in that setting. So, it was times where you hear a ping in the middle of the night. Somebody dropped something, like, you know what I mean? Because they were either trying to conceal it or move it or something like that. Things did get crazy a few times. It could have been over. It could have been over because one race didn't have a certain person in check, or because it could be simple as somebody coming into the wrong quad, and it always resulted, whatever the thing, whether it be simple or mass, whatever it was taken care of violently. It was never no talks. Even if there was talk, if they did have a talk, it would turn violent because of, how egos and things are in prison. But not only that, not only the egos, it was just that just was a prototypical way to handle it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying. I understand, but I still need you to run that. Or, okay, yeah, but they still got to discipline you, so we make sure you never do it again, or we make sure you don't ever talk to that person again. The thing that tripped me out most about being in prison is I had never experienced being in a place where you had a black toilet, Mexican toilet, white toilet, black water fountain, Mexican water fountain, white. I had never experienced that in my life. And it was even sections like, you'd have a section like these row of tables, and then this row of tables, and then this row of tables. Black table over here, black tables over here, had to walk all the way around. You couldn't cut through the tables. You cut through the tables, it could jump off, And I cut through the tables once. But luckily it was my first time. And they told me that if they had to tell me, they always, do that, you got one chance. And they told me, hey bro, if you happen to walk through the tables again, we're gonna have to DP you. But they never had to worry about that for me anymore. That was enough for me to see I was good. And Taft CCF, I just, that's more of a low security, low security prison. You know, it was things that went down there that, you know, were scary as well. But for the most part, I tried to stay out working. And I was working for about 2, 3 months. And it goes down at work too. And, you know, I winded up getting some extra time added on for combat and, you know, things like that. And, you know, that was basically it. Like, you know, for my last, I mean, I seen a few things, you know, go down and, you know, a couple riots and things like that between other races. But for the most part, I tried to stay away, especially when I had a short amount of time left. And when we had that short amount of time left, a lot of the OGs, they would suggest you to stay on your bunk when you, like, you know, 3 months to the house and 4 months to the house and things like that. So that's what it was. I just wrote a lot of music. I reached out to a lot of the people that I felt like I had messed up with, and I amended those relationships because prison does that to you. It puts you in a space where you feel like you're going to die soon, or you have a chance of dying or getting hurt real bad. So naturally you have a spot in your heart where you feel like you want to reach out to people, you know, and that's what I did. I reached out to a lot of people. I wrote a ton of music. So when I came out, I released a ton of music, you know. I also learned a few things. I worked out for the most part. You know, I worked out, tried to stay in shape. A lot of people, you know, working out is mandatory. A lot of prisons, you know, you have to work out, otherwise you get disciplined for not working out. But yeah, pretty much worked out. Did a lot of music. I tried to work. For some of the time the playoffs was on, I was watching the playoffs. But for the most part, yeah, bro, I was just doing a lot of research. I go to the library a lot and did a lot of research on things, on ways that I could stay out of trouble and ways I could involve myself in the community in a positive way. And then, you know, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I was writing music every day. I couldn't afford, at one time, and when I was in county fighting my case, I couldn't afford like a notebook because, you know, a lot of people walked out on me, and it was a time where I couldn't afford a notebook. So I learned how to, you know, write raps in my head and remember them. I don't know how I did it, but I did it, and yeah, once I started getting money where I could afford books, I didn't do it. I was just like, oh, I'm stuck. Like I'm stuck in this way. I don't want to write. So that's what I did. I just wrote a lot of music, bro. That's basically it.
When he got out, but I was with him on a regular, you know. But when he first got out, he stayed to himself for a while. For a while, he didn't really want to talk to anybody, you know. He had to collect his thoughts and come to grips with what's going on, you know. But he never like we hung out, we would, you know, do things, you know. But it kind of, you kind of wanted to give him his space, you know what I mean. But at the same time, it's like you want to talk about everything, and it's like it's kind of ironic. His mixtape was called Nightmare on Elm Street, and that's just exactly Nightmare on Wolff Street. But that's exactly what it was. It was a nightmare.
My day-to-day life when I got home from prison was, you know, obviously waking up early because you're still on, you know, prison time. I would walk my son to school every morning because he'd be there at the house, or rather he spent the night with me or his mother dropped him off early in the morning. I walked him to school almost every morning. After that, I come home, eat breakfast. I didn't have a phone or, you know, my sister let me use her computer, and I jump on these, you know, these websites, jobs.com and, you know, different things like that, and try to figure out, you know, ways where I can live my life straight. Most of the time I was, you know, trying to stay out of the way of certain people. It was a complex that I was living in. It was a lot of different people, but I was on parole and I had to be careful about who I was around and who I associated myself with. So for the most part, I stayed in the house unless I had to do anything. I got a few quick jobs you know, that didn't really pan out right because, you know, lied on my application, and a lot of the time, you know, that take about 2 weeks for them to get back. And the only reason I lied on my application is because I knew they wouldn't hire me, and you know, them firing me is, you know, a week and a half into the job by the time it came back. That shows you, you know. But you know, that happened probably 2 or 3 times before I just told myself I wanted to go into business for myself and try to figure out a way to, you know, do things myself. So I had a friend named Mark Tutt that wanted to help me with my music. So he'd pay for my studio time, and there was a span of time right after I got out where I was in the studio almost every day. I pay for the studio time, go and do about 4 to 8 hours, and you know, every day. And that turned into me just writing.
Musically, he's really gifted. He's got a really good ear. I mean, I don't think he can tell you what the scale is, but he can hear the root note and do all the next notes after it. You know what I mean? So I don't think he's actually got any training per se, but he knows. He's really musically inclined, and then his cadences are crazy. He comes off really aggressive, and his timing is spot on. It's just been really unique to work with him, a really unique experience to work with him like that.
At that time, I had 2 kids, and you know, I wasn't with either one of their mothers, and I wasn't with either one of their mothers, and it took a toll because, you know, when I came home, you know, a lot of people expected me to just jump right into fatherhood. It was even a time where, you know, my son, you know, wanted to come live with me, and I didn't know how to handle that at the time because I was trying to get my life together. Literally like 2-3 weeks after I got out. But for the most part, he spent a lot of time with me at school. It was right around the corner. So we spent, you know, way more than, you know, enough. Nah, it can never be enough time, but you get it, you know. But yeah, got child support papers dropped off on me. I'm not gonna say which kid, but literally probably was out 4 weeks, and child support papers dropped on me. Okay, what do you do now? You know what I mean? You out for 4 weeks of this, that, and the third. So, you know, it was pretty hard because you go from making this amount of money, like, you know, 10,000, 20,000, whatever you're making. You go from making that amount of money, and then you come out to diddly, and people, you know, a lot of people that, you know, were probably rooting against you anyways, you know, they make it harder for you because when you come back home, they just go off doing different things, and, you know, making your curve a little bit difficult, you know, when you first released. But, you know, I got through it, you know, and you know, winded up linking up with a lot of the right people.
I think we met on tour, man. You know what I'm saying? With the TE family, man. The nigga told me his name was Magnum PI. His stage name was Magnum PI. I said, "What's your real name?" And he said, "King." I said, "Nigga, that should be
exactly.
Your name.
Me
that
too.
That should be your name,
yeah.
Magnum PI, dude."
Exactly. I'm
King.
like, what?
Look at this shit. Look at what I got on, man. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? That's worldwide, my nigga. Everybody know what a king is. That's the nigga
King.
name.
Yeah.
So I said, do that, brother. You know what I'm saying? Everybody think they're king in their own right. That's why I have this on with this everywhere I go.
He put that on when he saw you, man.
Nigga, please.
I told him it was because
of
y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all and Punch.
Yeah. Like, man, how in the world you gonna have a Magnum PI's cool, I get it. And you didn't even have a mustache.
Your name is King, my nigga?
You gotta have a big
King.
Look, you gotta have a big Richard Pryor mustache, like Magnum PI to be like.
Tech Nine calls himself King of Darkness, all this, you know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King, Rodney King, whatever, nigga. King. Yeah. That says it all. It's
No
like
doubt.
there's nothing above me.
You come out, and most of the time you want to do right, and you want to be, you know, straight. You want to fly straight, but society nowadays just they don't make it they don't make it easy at all. They make it as hard as they can. People have their own theories, like, you know, what, well, you know, they want you to be in jail. They want you to, you know, they want to make money off of you, is what they say. I have my own experiences, though. I got off parole in like 2 years, you know, based on my drive and determination of wanting to become a hip hop artist and, you know, wanting to get my music out to the masses and wanting to speak for, you know, a demographic of people, a certain demographic of people, not necessarily race or anything, but, you know, there's a lot of people with my story, so I wanted to get that out. It was about, I think it was something like 1 a.m. in the morning, and I got a call from a guy that I had known about for a while, and you know, he had been trying to get in touch with me, had a hard time getting in touch with me. So he called one of the producers that I work with by the name of Ono, and he knew that Ono can get in touch with me. So Ono gave him my number. He called me, and he said, "Hey, I want to start a record deal. I want to start a record label with you called Planet Zero Entertainment, Planet Zero Records." And you know, he told me what he could do for me financially, and how we could make this music thing become a reality instead of a dream. And I was up for it. So I think about 3 days later, he sent me a contract in the mail. Contract was me being part owner of the record label. I signed the contract with a quickness, and I sent it back to him. The next week, I was in the studio recording my first debut album, Nightmare on Wolff Street.
Small shit to a giant. I hope the Lord forgive me for my defiance. I'm hot enough, but ain't shit to do with the climate. Sink or swim, where I'm from, it's niggas decide. Should I stop at this mountain or should I climb it? All this money to get and they stressing over compliance. I get my family out of this hellhole, I'm considered diminished, show to wind up in jail clothes.
Told most of my story on that album, and the whole city was feeling it. Everybody was feeling it. I started having fans popping up out of nowhere, being Buffalo Wild Wings, and, you know, one of the waiters, you know, or, you know, telling you, "Hey, are you King Harris?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm King Harris." And I love that album, Nightmare on Wolff Street, you know what I mean? Like, just that different type of stuff. Be at the club and you just chilling and somebody walks up to you and asks you for a picture, you know. Things just started changing. And they changed real good for me. And it was all because I told my story, whether it be from prison, streets, whatever. I was telling my story. Break the curse. A lot of these families, you know, they have generations upon generations upon generations where they never been shit. They never been anything. I was part of one of those families, you know, where a lot of people, you know, all from generation to generation, we didn't have anything. You know, there was times where I'm looking at these families and I'm looking at certain families and they're coming in, "Oh, just got 150,000 because my auntie died," or, "Oh, I just got 50,000 because my stepdad passed," or something like that. We never had that. Like a lot of people where I come from, we never had anything like it, never. And what happens is you get tired of it. And you say, "You know what, I'm the one," this is what I told myself, "I'm the one that has, in my family, in my generation, before, like after all of these generations, I got genius level talent, genius level talent. Why wouldn't I want to be the person to set up my grandkids, my great-grandkids, and my great-great-grandkids to never have to go through anything that I went through?" Oh, I would love that. I would love for my grandkids to be telling the story to their kids, like, "Yeah, your grandpa set it off." Your great-grandpa set it off. He set it off. We used to do this, we used to do that, and he was this star, and he you know, he went in and out of prison, and he just had this vision. He had a vision, and that's what it is. Like, I have that same vision. You know what I mean? I have those same opportunities. They haven't flourished fully yet, but I have those same visions and those same opportunities. And that's all it is you want to break the curse. You don't want the next generation of your family to have to go through what you went through. You don't want their next generation to have to be on welfare and dependent on, you know, the system, or dependent on the community to help them raise babies and help them do this and that. No, we're gonna set it off from right here. We're gonna jump it off from right here, and we're gonna do what we can so we can make sure that these babies, because we are already who we're gonna be, pretty much. We might make a little more money, make a little more, a little less, or whatever. That's why, you know, I was just talking to my daughter the other day, and we was talking about who would step in front of the bullet for each other. And she said she would step in front of a bullet for me. I told her, nah, I gotta step in front of the bullet for you because I'm already who I'm gonna be. Now you have the potential to be huge. You have the potential to be greater than great. So we don't risk that. I got the bullet, okay? You know what I mean? So, you know, that's what it is, man. Just say it's all about these kids. It's all about these babies and the generations coming up. Because, you know, think about how messed up the 80s and the 90s was based off generations before them. I know there were millionaires and things way back then, but what I'm saying is, like, as far as like who a lot of the 80s babies, the 80s was so messed up because who did they have to look up to? Like, who did we have to look up to? We didn't have too much. Most of the crack epidemic came in, and most of the people that we were in our families and stuff, they were crack addicts or dope dealers because it was crazy in the 80s. That's what we seen. So we were messed up. So now it's like, let's break this curse. Let's break this curse. We don't know. No, my kids, I don't want my kids to see this. You know what I mean? I want my daughter to, she's into track and field and she has a passion for it. That's what I want her to see. So guess what? Now every day of her life, we're gonna try to keep her grades straight and bolt toward this track thing. My son, he's a Class A athlete, football and basketball. What we gonna do? Every day we gonna work on these grades and we're gonna try to figure out how we gonna get him to a certain level. You know what I mean? And that's basically all it is. You just wanna break the curse. You don't wanna have to, like, I had dreams of being a hooper. By the time I got to high school, I see all of these guys with beards and they 6'8" and stuff like that. I'm like, this ain't gonna work. So, all right, let me figure it out. You know what I mean? And you start thinking about other things and ways to get out. And you know, you go through, you take the sacrifices like selling dope and things like that, not because you just want a ball. I've never been but people around here, they knew I was selling dope. They knew it. But at the end of the day, was I showing it? No, not because I was stacking money or anything, because I didn't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't care about none of that. It's all about these kids, bro. That's all it is. If you could set up a situation where your kids could be great, they're gonna have more opportunity. It's gonna be more of an opportunity for them to be greater than great. And that's what I'm all about. Look, the whole rehabilitation system in prison is kind of like 50-50. Now, if you're motivated to do better, you're gonna get out and you're gonna do better. You're not gonna go back if that's your motivation. But if you feel like you can beat the system, you feel like you can be smarter, or you could do things differently, and you know, that's always gonna, no, you're always gonna fall short. And it's not based on you know, thoughts or in the mind or anything. It's based on, because criminals are criminals. Everybody's out for themselves. Everybody's out for themselves. You could be dealing with somebody every day and you trust this person with your heart because they on the same grind as you. And that person could be an informant. It happens, you know. That person could be an informant. You could be dealing with a group of people, and you know, could trickle down the line and one of those people get in trouble, or that person's being watched, you know, and you around these people, you know. So there's not one way you could trick the system or you can get away with anything. There's no way. You had mobsters that were millionaires, or you had, you know, dope dealers that billionaires, you know, and these people either got killed or went to jail. prison for a very long time. So there's absolutely no way you can beat the system. So if you do have any type of motivation in you to stay out, just give that 100%. Don't make it 50-50. Give it 100%, and 100% of the time you'll stay out. Hi, my name is King Harris, and this is Fresh Out, Life After the Penitentiary.